you feel if I step out?
Do whatever you want.
Or energy. With the light.
You out there?
You want to see?
Everything good to go?
Yeah, everything good to go. Whatever you ready to start.
All right.
Let me just get this right.
How was the drive over?
It was cool, you know, a nice little 40-minute drive.
Not too bad. I drive 40 minutes every day down to Stanford. If I leave earlier.
From here?
Nah, from Bridgeport.
Oh, okay.
But like, typically, traffic is bad now. So it's like some days it might be an hour 10, sadly.
Damn, that's crazy.
Yeah. But like I said before, I want to thank you for making your way out here. Like you said, you did the 40 minutes, and I really appreciate that. I always appreciate when somebody takes time out the day to come and have a conversation.
Yeah, for sure. I like, you know, driving down that Route 8 too, you know, south from Waterbury and shit. A lot of people, especially like people from Bridgeport too, they always talk about the mountains and the winding trails and shit like that. But that's cool to me. I like that shit. It's, you know, different scenery and shit like that.
I don't know how true it is, but I've learned that, somebody told me that it's like that, like it's mountainous and it has like the valley because years ago, millions of years ago, like the glaciers were coming through Connecticut and they carved those paths.
Yeah, or just like water and rain, period, you know?
Yeah.
Like that should be chipping away.
Yeah. Are you feeling like yourself today?
Yeah, nonetheless, I'm good, yeah.
Who are you and what do you do?
My name is Fly Rye, the face of CT. I do a whole lot of PSing. That's, you know, poetically speaking. You feel me? Which camera is mine too? This one?
Both of them.
Both of them? Okay. I want to be able to talk to the people and, you know what I mean?
That'll be main for sure.
Alright, but.
Alright. So you said you do a lot of PS?
Yeah, PS. That's poetically speaking for those that don't know. You know what I mean? I'm a poet. I'm an artist. I'm from Waterbury, Connecticut. And yeah, I'm in the community. Do a lot of community work. And, yeah, that's me.
So I've met you in a couple different spaces. And they definitely have been poetic spaces, I would say. Seems like a lot of people do know you, and you're very talented. I give you that.
Respect.
So can you give me a little background on how you found poetry?
I found poetry in high school. I had a poetry teacher. His name was Mr. Pastor, and he was like a road manager for like TLC or something like that. And it just brought me in there because I always had a love for music. So in that poetry class, like it just he really opened me up to it because that's where I found like it was so free. It was so free to write instead of, because I came from music first, you know, so I'm writing the beats and you got to stay within certain beats and bars and shit like that. So the poetry just was so free, like I didn't have to confine myself to nothing and I could just let it out, and that's really when I found like my love for it.
Do you remember your first poem?
Do I remember it? Nah, I can't pull it off top, but I remember. Yeah, I remember it. Yeah.
And so, do you remember what inspired you about it? Because from what you're telling me, it's like you came from doing music and you were beats, and finding poetry allowed you to take step out of a box that you didn't even realize you were in to express yourself.
Yeah, facts. What was your original question though?
So, do you remember? You said you remember your first poem, but do you remember what inspired it?
It came from a prompt in that poetry class. I don't even remember the exact prompt, but my poem was basically about good and evil. I was talking about the angel on one shoulder and the devil on one shoulder, and
yeah, I respect that. I really feel like, personally for me, I told you this before, I don't really consider myself a poet, but I like to write poetry as well. And I feel like when you get into it, there's a duality that people like to talk about to bring perspective into stuff. So you said that good and evil, was that a reflection of you?
Yeah, for sure.
and growing up in Waterbury, I assume.
Yeah, yeah.
So how did growing up in Waterbury impact you, or shape who you are?
It made me everything of who I am. You know, I'm from Waterbury, Connecticut. I'm from Walnut. I lived on Walnut like all my life, damn near. But I lived in like another hood too, Bunker Hill. I'm from the Bunks for real. Like a lot of people don't know that, and they'll be like, you know what I mean? But I'm from Walnut too, and I grew up on Long Hill. I was in the drum corps. You know, we played the drums. I played the bass drum, and we used to travel and stuff. But Long Hill is like right up the hill from Walnut. So like back in the day, like when I was young, my parents like wouldn't really let me just go outside because there's too much happening on the block. There's too much like it wasn't safe like that. They didn't want me to be out there, so they liked that I was in the drum corps on the hill. But you know the hill is the hood too, so I'm just walking up the hill to the hill like every day. That's like where I grew up too, and you know it shaped everything about me. You know, I always had a love for the music, and you know, and that's where I learned like everything in life, everything good, everything bad. Yeah,
What was the most impactful thing you learned out there?
the most impactful thing in Waterbury, or
Yeah. Or you can say specifically on the hill, on the bunks.
oh, the most impactful thing. Um,
I'll give you a sec because I'm asking that because before I really go into Waterbury and experience and knowing more people from there, I tend to get a lot of negative things or hear a lot of negative things about it, right?
mm-hmm.
But visiting, I think I was out there a couple weeks ago and seeing people put together a poetry show and hearing how you were in the drum corps, so they clearly had activities or things going on
Yeah.
that were positive, right?
Mm-hmm.
So can you tell me a little bit about that?
Yeah, there's a lot of positive things going on in Waterbury. The problem is people don't get involved. A lot of people don't get involved, and it's not because they might be ignoring it. Sometimes they just don't know about it. They don't know that there's programs like you know, the drum corps, the Berkeley Knights. They don't know that there's different things than a PAL. You feel me? Because like that's typically what a lot of people go to.
What's the PAL?
PAL, Police Athletic League. You know, they have a lot of programs and stuff for the youth and things like that.
How long has that been around Waterbury? Because I think that recently came to Stanford like 2 or 3 years
That's
ago.
been for years. I was in PAL. I played ball there, like, so at least 30, 40 years
Yeah, that's
maybe.
a long time.
Yeah. Well, I played ball there. I think it might have just came around that time they had boxing and all of that. I was probably like, I don't know, 9. So maybe 20-something years they probably been around.
So what connected you to all these programs? Because like you said, a lot of people don't get connected, but you were in PAL, you had the drum corps, you knew you were into music, you found poetry.
Really, the kids around me too. I got into the drum corps because my boy, he was already in it, and he was drumming. He's still a part of it, you know. He's still, you know, teaching, help the kids out. But it was just the people around me. Yeah, that's how I got into it.
Shout out to them.
Yeah, for sure. Shout out to them.
All right, so let's get back into your poetry.
Yeah.
Can you tell me what emotion would you say inspires most of your poems?
I wouldn't say inspires most of them, but the emotion that really inspires me is like anger. I love to write. Like I love to let my pain out. Like, or if I get hurt and I just wanna, yeah. Then my pen don't stop going. You feel me?
You just pouring.
Yeah, just pouring out. Yeah. But when I write, like I gotta find the inspiration, or if it just comes to me, then I write. I really only write when I'm inspired. I don't even just write every day for real. Yeah.
I had a friend that told me he recommended me like I should try to write every day because it's like a muscle. But when you feel inspired and those words start flowing, it's just different. It's like a high.
Nah, it is. It is for sure. Yeah, it's a good high too.
For sure. So, what you said, anger was something that really, I don't say inspires, but motivates you to express yourself.
Yeah.
Do you ever find yourself like trying to? I'll say that's the wrong question. I'll say. Whereas anger, did you always find writing to let out your anger, or did you ever have other outlets before you?
To let out my anger, nah. 'Cause remember, like I really started just writing, especially poetry in high school. So I had, anger issues. Even I don't got anger issues, but as a youth, you go through some shit. Like I always used to be fighting too. That was a release too. But it's like with my family and cousins and shit. That's just how we grew up. Yeah.
Now, say if you're not really inspired, you're not gonna write, right?
Mhm.
I'll give you just to share something with you because like I felt very similar to that, and it's odd because I find myself writing less now because some things that really motivated me were, I would say, pain, regret, um, and how would I say? And looking back on my poems, I realized a lot of them were cries for help almost, you know. And I'm in a space now where I have found different outlets, right? But not just to express myself, but to feel through different emotions and try to aim to resolve them. Not only because like a lot of issues in life I felt like I wasn't able to change, right? I felt like that, and I felt frustrated, and I found different ways to express that in poetry. Until a lot of things came to a head. I've talked about before. So, was there any point for you where you weren't able to find, or you said you used to get into fights and stuff, right? But now in your older age, what happens when time passes and part of you wants to write, but you don't have that inspiration, or you don't have that anger or emotion that is heightened text?
I wait for it, or I'll try to, I try to write, I try to get some, or I'll search for the inspiration. When I don't got inspiration, I go looking for it. Sometimes it's just something you just come across, and then it'll click. Like, oh shit, that'd be fire if I could, talk about this or talk about that. I would say though, like I don't really write too much off of emotions. I have a direction already where I'm going. I got a topic, I got an idea, I got a twist to it, whatever, and I'm gonna execute that. You feel me? 'Cause yeah, I feel like when you write with emotions, you're free writing. Nonetheless, unless you have a topic or something, but free writing is very you use a lot of emotions in that, and I don't do that too much. I have an idea already, or a direction that I'm gonna talk about, and I'm gonna write about it. Or if I don't have it, I'm gonna find it. I'm gonna find some inspiration. Or sometimes it just takes you just to be in a different environment. It feels like you could just feel the environment and feel like, damn, this is inspiring. You feel me? just the shit you see around you is a change, and or the way people talk that might be different than back home. Like it just gives you something a little different, you know, a different feel for it.
Yeah, I think I like to refer to that as like a peek behind the veil. It's like a whole new perspective that you didn't have for yourself that you can gain from living vicariously through others.
Yeah.
So are all your poems typically from your perspective?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I can't say that. I've put myself in you know, other people's shoes and written from their perspectives as well. It's not all about mine, but I do mostly write about my perspective. But I do touch other perspectives as well, for sure.
Outside, so you don't depend too much on your emotion right now.
Mm-hmm.
So what was the last thing that sparked you? That you like, oh, I know a way to put that together.
Well, I just got booked for a show. What is it? I want to say July 28th, Arts and Basketball, in West Haven, CT. So I don't really got no basketball poems like that. Had to write a basketball poem.
So you put it together.
Wrote some fire shit. Rehearsing right now.
So
and we gonna kill it.
All right, I respect that. You said when is it?
It's July 28th, Arts and Basketball, West Haven, Peridium Events. Yep.
What day does that fall on during the week?
What is that? A Sunday, I want to say.
All right, I'm gonna pop out to that.
For sure.
July 28th.
Yeah.
What time?
It's during the day, like it's early. Might be like 2 or something.
It's not bad on a Sunday. I like events like that. When you get back home before the sunset.
There's basketball tournaments. There's, you know, mad vendors, arts and things, different type of arts.
Did you go hoop to get inspired or feel it?
Nah, but I need to. I might hop in a tournament. You feel me? Hell yeah.
I see that you're very active, and I saw on your Instagram you refer to yourself as a curator, right?
Yeah.
And I feel when I talk to people about poetry and their craft, they I don't say simply, but they often just talk about their performances and I guess the next show that they have upcoming. But you can speak to like there are multiple events that you were able to curate, and I consider you an entrepreneur. Can you tell me a little bit about how you found that transition or what sparked it?
I was gonna say too, yeah, on my IG I say curator, but on the top it say entrepreneur, you know, right above that. And I always felt like I am an entrepreneur, and I always been an entrepreneur since I was 16, 17 years old, you feel me? I was throwing parties.
Where out in Waterbury?
Yeah, in Waterbury. What was it? Probably like my senior year in high school, I threw a foam party. That party alone paid for my first semester in college at LIU.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, in Brooklyn. I've been doing this block party I got coming up. That's July 20th. This will be the 11th annual Community Vibes Block Party. I've been doing that since I was young. But yeah, I always been an entrepreneur, you know. That's really always been me, and I never really wanted to step outside of that, you feel me? I hate stepping outside of that. I hate going to work. I hate all that regular Joe Schmo. I don't feel like I'm a Joe Schmo. I don't want to be. You feel me? It's hard being an entrepreneur though, and especially being an entrepreneur especially being an entrepreneur from the hood, cause you feel me? Like we could get it that way, we could get it that way, but we gonna get it, and it's still like, you know, it's still trying to do the right thing at the end of the day, where it's still a challenge every day, and yeah.
I respect that because a lot of people don't realize those options are always on the table.
Mm-hmm.
Especially as you do events and certain people want to bring certain opportunities for you, and you want to mix certain things in. But as far as I can see, I respect the way that you go about it and you keeping it legit.
Or respect.
But you had an event recently that it looked amazing. I wish I could have been there, but what did I have going on? I had something, but I wasn't able to make it. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Museum of Poets. That was, what was the date of that? That was June 30th. We was in Brooklyn. So Museum of Poets is immersive poetry. Poets immerse themselves in fully curated set designs to tell their story. So in Brooklyn, we was at the Love Shack, beautiful like studio house type shit, you feel me? And they had different little setups. It was just real creative vibes. And so we basically used that whole house, each inch of that house as our set to perform. So Museum of Poets, I like to think of it like as pop-up poetry in a way, you feel me? Because, one performance might be here, another performance might be there, another performance might be there. The crowd travels with the performance, you feel me? It's like I wanted to make it seem like a museum for real. When you're in a museum, you walk, you go here, you look at that, you go over there, you look at that. You feel me? It's the Museum of Poets.
And how long have you been doing that?
So that just started last year, November 2023. And it started at the Social House in Hartford. So they had hit me up like, yo, somebody told us about you. We want you to do an event here, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, all right, I'm gonna think about this thing, what I could do there, whatever, I'm gonna get back to you. And then, sat there, thought about it, bun some herb, cut the meds, you feel me? And then it just came to me, like Museum of Poets, and they got all the sets already set up, you feel me? It's like a selfie museum. The Social House is a selfie museum. So they had different sets. Set. And I'm just thinking, what I do. Like I put poetry shows, so I'm going to put a poetry show. And I just crafted it.
So the sets are pre-made for the shows?
Yeah.
So was that similar to the one that recently happened?
Yeah, so like it was born from a selfie museum where sets are already preset, right? The one in Brooklyn, you could say it was preset. It was the house is decorated how it is, and we just used each corner of the house so it was preset. But Museum of Poets is immersive poetry. And I want to be able to immerse in any environment that we're in. So if we do a poetry show at a zoo, I want you to be able to immerse with the tiger that's behind you while he right behind you performing or interacting with him or whatever the case may be. Or you feel me? I want to be able to immerse in any environment wherever we're able to take it. And I love Museum of Poets because I'm able to really take it state to state, take it around the world, and it's going to be the biggest poetry platform in the world.
I love to hear that.
The world.
Do you have the next one in mind? Are you planning it?
Yeah, so we're planning it right now. I'm like a dude who, I got a lot going on, a lot on my plate, so we get to it, but we're trying not to be like that. Trying to be more set into the future, you feel me? Have everything planned out and everything. But we're gonna get there because, we're gonna make it the biggest in the world, so we're trying to get the money right, trying to get the proper funding, trying to get the proper relationships with these venues, and we're gonna make it happen.
I think that something like that would be amazing down in Stanford. I would love to connect you with venues or the right people.
Okay,
to make that happen.
Yeah, that'll be fire. I love Stanford too. Stanford got a little vibe to it.
All right. Look at showing love. They definitely gonna have you pop out now.
Mm-hmm.
Do you have a favorite act from the most recent show? outside of yourself?
I didn't even perform. I just hosted the show.
I respect that.
Favorite act, I would say from that show, probably J Rose. J Rose is fire. She's from Brooklyn. My crumbled thoughts on Instagram. She just dropped a book too. Pieces of my crumbled thoughts. Her performance is fire. And I seen her perform a couple times, but each time it's like something new that's fired that just hit me, and I'd be like, damn, I'm starting to like her performance more and more. She's a really dope poet for sure.
Shout out to her, J Rose, right?
Yeah, J Rose.
And My Crumbled Thoughts.
Yeah, My Crumbled Thoughts is her Instagram.
Definitely gonna follow.
Word.
You had another event that was going. That actually was the first event I heard about when you performed at Mosaic. It might have been maybe like 6 months ago now.
Mm-hmm.
It was a Pohuka tree.
Pohuka tree. Yeah.
How did you start that?
So that started in like 2016, 2017, I lived out in Cali for like a year. And just being in Cali, that's really where like my poetry motion started. Just being out there performing in different spaces in the Bay, and in Sacramento. It taught me just that whole scene for real. And I competed out there, and I was on a slam team, and we was able to go to Denver, Colorado. So that was like my first time traveling too. It really opened my space up. It really opened my mind up to the whole poetry thing, right? So now I'm Cali is expensive as fuck. So I'm going back home. Yeah, so as soon as I came back home, I started Pohuka Tree. And I just knew that I wanted to bring something that had a little bit of those Cali vibes that I experienced, but is our vibes too, Waterbury for sure. And I was just thinking in the club, they always smoking hookah. They cannot go without their hookah. Everybody need their hookah, you feel me? So I'm like, how can I mix the poetry with the hookah? And then I said, Pohuka Tree, you feel me? It's a mix of poetry, hookah, and art every last Thursday of the month for 5 years. So we had that going.
You really been out here working?
Yeah, for sure.
And I know we talked about a little bit off the air. You said, is Pohuka Tree ongoing or is it just suspended?
It's just suspended right now. It's just suspended because I could always bring it back out if I get the right, opportunity, the right vibe come. You could bring Pohuka Tree back. Pohuka Tree was something special for real. I done seen so much talent, and it's not just poetry. Now, the events I do is just straight poetry. But Pohuka Tree, it was all art, all music, all different types of talent, comedy, all of that. I seen so many artists grow in there. I had people that been rocking with me for years, and I remember when they first started, you feel me, compared to what they doing now. They doing big things, and it's just great to know that Pohuka Tree played a part in that for real. A lot of artists that in Pohuka Tree brought a lot of artists to Waterbury. Had people from all over the East Coast, from Boston, Rhode Island, New Jersey, New York, Philly. I had people come down, you feel me? And not to mention all of Connecticut. The whole Connecticut was in Pohuka Tree. So, yeah, Pohuka Tree is it was a real staple. And we're going to bring it back when the time is right.
I respect that.
Word.
It's interesting for me because as we were just talking about, the things that shaped you or these programs and the opportunities that you had to expand your mind, and now you were able to curate an event that was a platform for many people.
Mm-hmm.
And so often, whether it be an escape or an opportunity to grow and become who they really are, and I want to commend that.
Thank you, man.
Because
That's right.
personally, I feel like that's what I want to create, and I really want to be about, because it's those opportunities that make us who we are, and people don't realize those opportunities are there,
Mm-hmm.
and a lot of them aren't easily accessible.
Yeah.
So shout out to you for creating that.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Well, I might be jumping around, but hope you're okay with that.
Yeah, you good.
How did you find yourself in Cali?
So, I was in a relationship with this girl, and she did me the dirtiest, did me filthy, and after that, I kind of like went through a little, dark time. I didn't know what to do with myself, and I just felt like I needed extreme change. You feel me? So I had an uncle that lived in Sacramento. So I told him like I gotta come out there, and his house was always open for me. So I went out there, and he lived in Sacramento, so I stayed out there with him maybe for like 3 months. Stayed with him, and then I was looking for work at the time, so I found some work, and it happened to be in Oakland. It was working for the registrar of voters. I handled that first Trump election. So I had to move to Oakland, really, and it was a good paying job. That was like my first job where I was getting 20 an hour. At that time, that was something to me. So I'm like, I gotta go out there, and I just went out there. I was homeless for, I lived in a storage unit.
Real shit.
Yeah, I lived in a storage unit for a couple months.
Just making it work.
Just making it work. I had to make it work. I just, I was always chasing something. I was, chasing some money. I was chasing poetry. I was chasing the music. So, like, the bad times never, really seemed too bad for me. Like, I was sleeping on my luggage in a storage unit for months. You feel me? But my ass is getting up. I'm going to the gym. I was in the best shape of my life. For real, I had to live in the gym. Nigga, I showered in the gym every day. So I worked out every day. I was in the best shape of my life. It didn't seem too down for me. You feel me?
Having a vision can just be so powerful.
Yeah, it was the vision for real that just led me to do all of that and just make it work.
So did you end up getting an apartment or at some point in Oakland?
Nah. I could have, cause it depends how I wanted it to play out. I just decided to make choices and go back, cause I had girls out there too. So I could have made it work.
Yeah.
I could have made it work if I really wanted to. You feel me? But I just had another vision. Like, I had poetry. I was inspired out there. Like, I feel like it did its job. It did its job, because as soon as I came back home, within the same month, I threw poetry.
Wow.
Yeah.
And you also went to LIU.
Yeah, yep.
What did you study out there?
What did I study? I think I started with marketing, and business.
Do you feel like any of that helped you out?
Not really. Because I didn't see the vision in that. If I would have known, what I'm going to be today, I would have knew really the importance of marketing. if you can be a professional marketer,
You could sell
you
anything.
can run the world for real. You could, yeah,
We
sell
watching-
anything.
You
could,
watching it happen right now.
yeah,
The way the news like portrays things.
yeah,
It's crazy.
yeah.
You had a poem that was pretty impactful for me that I heard,
Mhm.
and it was the importance of the order of importance of people in your life.
Mm.
How did that come about?
So, it was like a series of events. Me and my girl was just having a conversation, and we was talking about the order of importance of of some people in our life, and then like somehow I stumbled upon this article, and it was talking about parents really putting their kid first, and how like it was kind of like detrimental in a way. And then like probably within the same day, with like nothing warranting it, my mother sent me a video. My mother sent me a video of a dude talking about like the order of importance, who he put first and second and last, and why. So I was like, damn, that's signs right there. Now I feel inspired. So I just thought about my order of importance, and I put it in a poem.
And do you feel like that poem has affected the people that you placed in order at all?
Yeah, it affected my mother, but my mother grew to understand where I'm coming from too, and understand where she kind of, in her words too, went wrong. So it affected people because me and my girl was on the same way though. We was on the same page. It just makes sense to me, just looking at my parents' relationship, other people's relationships, and how it's going. Like, it just made sense. I feel like, because I feel like the norm is to put your kids first. You feel me? And I feel like everyone is going to naturally put their kids first. But the reason why, like, we even had, especially as black people, so many broken homes, and these kids growing up in two households, separate families and shit, is because the parents never put themselves first. So I feel like if we try to do that, like even moving forward, I think we might see, change in the black family.
And just so we can state it explicitly for the conversation, what's your order?
My order is wifey, kid, mother.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't have a kid, so I can't speak to that right now. But I respect that.
Or
But you have a child, correct?
yeah.
How old are they?
Well, his name is Poet, and he's 5 months old.
Well, congratulations, brother.
Thank you.
It's fairly recent.
Yes,
Very,
definitely.
very much congrats. How'd you think of the name?
It just came to me one day. You know how you be trying to think about names and find names, and one day it just came to me like, oh shit, Poet. I'm gonna name a poet. I'm a poet. Like,
I mean, that's a beautiful name, though.
yeah,
It is a very beautiful name.
A lot of people love it.
It's a boy, right?
Yep. So, boy or girl, the name was gonna be Poet.
And what have been some of the biggest changes for you since having a child?
Biggest change, just the responsibility. like just knowing that it's not for self no more. And I was really a selfish person. Everything is about me, you feel me? But now knowing that, like, I can't be selfish no more. I have like a whole family I gotta look after for real. That's the biggest change.
And I respect you saying you got a whole family that you have to look after. Do you consider yourself an open communicator?
Yeah, for sure. I talk.
It sounds like when you say when I usually hear people say I gotta look after my family, it's like they take on a lot of stuff and then don't find the time to really express how they're feeling to the people that they're taking on so much for. And I think a lot of resentment comes from that.
Yeah, nah, I share my thoughts and my opinions and my ideas and my suggestions and everything. I'm a good communicator. Nonetheless, I feel like, I'm gonna always, speak what I believe to my family, and they do the same as well. So we communicate good.
And has it always been like that?
No, it ain't always been like that. Hell no.
I'll be real with you. Like, what I'm learning in life is like we grow into adults, right? And we realize all these things we were taught and raised upon, right?
Yeah.
And our parents are still our parents, and they are who they were when they raised us, right?
Yeah.
But now it's like when you realize what you need and how you need to go about things and how you would like to communicate, and those are hurdles I personally run into with my own mother.
So how do you, solve those hurdles?
Can't lie to you. Sometimes I take breaks. I check in, but like I could definitely communicate with my mom more. But like I don't know what it is, but like she can frustrate me faster than anybody, and I don't know why it is.
Cause that's your mother. She know you like the back of her hand. Like, what you mean? Yeah, she gonna frustrate you. That's their job. You feel me? That's what they're going to do. Like, that's the one person who's like always been the authority to us. So as we grow and get big and we become our own authority figures, you feel me? It's hard when they just want to frustrate you. You feel me?
So how do you have any advice for that?
My advice is this. It's kind of simple. Like, that's your mother. So at the end of the day, it don't even matter. It don't matter like what you really feel or what you really think, or you know what I mean? Because at the end of the day, you gotta respect her. You got to respect her. So yeah. Yeah.
So I gotta find more respect in that relationship.
Yeah, it's just probably more communication. Maybe I just both need to talk more, bond more. You feel me? Having a kid really taught me how to bond. I didn't really even think of the word bond or like really like think I was bonding or know when I was bonding with somebody or anybody. You feel me? But really bonding is like it's a feeling. It's a real feeling that's like euphoric too. You feel me? So I think if y'all was to bond more, then I think y'all relationship might be better.
I respect that. I could definitely be more intentional.
Word. That's good.
Is there... I was going to ask you this before. How many poems you end up writing about that girl that ended up having you move to Cali?
Oh, shit. I didn't write no poems about her. I wrote some songs.
Oh.
Hell yeah. I wrote mad songs. For sure.
We didn't even get into that. So not only are you a poet, like you said, you originally came from music, and that's something that you still do.
Yeah, yeah.
So I did see that you recently released an EP.
No, a full-length project.
A full project.
Yeah, Pimp, Poet, and Prosper 2. That's my second full-length project. It's out on all streaming platforms right now.
I'm gonna definitely check that out.
Sure.
Do you have a favorite track off it?
Not really. It's too many. It's like, that is definitely my best body of work to date that I've put out. You feel me? Everything is just crafted like so beautifully. For real. Like, even the track list. My track list is a poem. If you just read it and go down it, it's a poem, and you're gonna hear it and flow, and then like just knowing it's a poem, and then hearing each song, you know, song by song, just illustrate each stanza of that track list, because the track list is one stanza, you feel me? So yeah, that's a good body of work from me for sure. Pimp, Poet, and Prosper 2. Go check it out, all streaming platforms.
We're gonna make sure we post and link that.
Where
another poem that you had that really resonated with me was "The Dirty Water," and I would love if you would be willing to recite that.
Okay, yeah, I can spit that for you. My city's known as the Dirty Water. That's Waterbury, Connecticut, if you happen to be a foreigner. There's no jobs and no pride. Pure negativity is your neighbor if you reside. Abandoned factories is the result of a corrupted government. Greed feeds the hunger of the white man who's running it. So this translates as a domino effect to the streets. Every man must eat because he too has needs. I once read an article from the governor of the state of Maine. He proclaimed that Waterbury, Connecticut is to blame for the overdoses of his citizens. The nerve of him. Not to be hypocritical, but he's probably right. Because where I'm from, every black and Spanish man has knowledge of bundles. From halves to wholes to bricks to loaves, they know bread. I mean, our streets are the walking dead. And with no jobs, these zombies are our opportunity to be fed. The job description of a drug dealer in Connecticut is like working the first shift as a customer service assistant at any business residence. First shift means up at 6 a.m. Because fiends are up early to purchase the drug of their choice to dismantle the crackling of their voices needed. In this job description, dealers must also transfer calls. Telling customers are called a trap phone because a dial to personal is how you designated a trap phone, a synonym for getting caught. If the Dirty Water had more jobs, these skill sets can be used in a more proficient way. But do I really mean that? Because the hourly pay won't add up to a couple bundles going a day. That's how we're raised. Is it the lack of jobs that creates the dirty water? Or the lack of pride that deteriorates the dirty water? Because if we had pride instead of just hanging outside sipping the dirty water by the pint and disposing it to the right, it wouldn't look like the slums. If we were happy to live here and purchase and renovated all these abandoned houses, we might love the fact to say that we live here. But no one likes dirt. And the only time these streets get cleaned is when you're doing community service. The fact that you have to get arrested and see the judge first before you get uplifted and clean your yard first is the reason why our mind and system is above worse. We are backwards. I am from a city that's taught to clap if he claps first. We need to save these applause. For when we get our young men off these streets and into some jobs, that's when I'll clap first. but no one likes dirty. But I love the fact to say that I'm from the dirty water, poetically speaking. Thank you.
Appreciate that, brother.
Word.
That means a lot to me, honestly.
Word.
Especially coming from where I come from and learning what I've been able to learn.
Mm-hmm.
And you put it all into perspective. People don't realize the hood is the biggest business in America.
Mm.
And
Yeah, for sure. Word. I ain't even think about that.
that's it right there. You know? And I really appreciate that.
Definitely.
Is there anything that I wasn't able to touch on or you want to express or share in this moment?
No, not off top. I mean, I had a good time, good conversation. Yeah, thanks for, having me here, for sure.
Definitely, I appreciate you coming out. Appreciate your vulnerability. And nonetheless, I hope to have you back sometime.
Yeah, definitely. I'm around, man. We got these events. Pull up. Feel me? July 20th, Community Vibes Block Party. 11th Annual Community Vibes Block Party on Warner Ave in Waterbury, CT. We got July 28th, Arts and Basketball in West Haven, Peridium Events. Yeah.
That's back to back. I'm going to have to choose which one I'm going to pull up onto.
Pull up, man. Whatever you want to pull up to, we here with it.
The block party sounds amazing. I'm definitely into stuff like that because that brings the community together.
Yeah, they pop out too. Yeah, pull up free jerk chicken all day. Free jerk chicken.
All right, it's spicy?
Yeah, it got spice to it. You know that.
I'm here for that. Is there anything that you need for that event?
We need, whatever type of donations, the people could donate. We accept water, soda, juice, school supplies, things like that. You feel me?
Definitely. We're going to bring some school supplies out there for you.
Word, respect. We need that. Much love to you for that.
No doubt.
Word.
I want to see people. I want to continue seeing people do great things. And if there's anything that I can do to assist that, you got my number, you got my gram, just hit me.
Got you, man. And you Ryan, so we're gonna show love.
That's a fact. We didn't touch on that, but I appreciate you, brother, for real.
All right, bro. Good show, huh?
Call Kai real quick.
Is there a bathroom over here I could use real quick?